I will be one of the first people to admit the decree system does get a little bit overpowered once you get to a point where you have so many of them. When you first start off in Duviri, you will have either one or none, because there is part of the intrinsic tree that will allow you to start Duviri with one. And the best bit of advice I can give you with that one is there's a little option at the bottom of the decree screen that says reroll. Use it until you get a decent one. Same goes with the decrees themselves. The best ones to go for are the ones that deal damage. There are certain ones that, if enemy affected by cold status, will do extra 20%. 20% extra damage to enemies affected by status within a certain range. These are completely useless to pick up first of all. And when I say that, I don't mean in total, I mean first ones to get. Leave them for later on and concentrate on ones that will physically do more damage. Double crit is probably one of the better ones. Double melee hits, also one of the better ones, but these are rare. There is one that will quite literally make foes more vulnerable to every round you shoot. So the more you shoot them, the more damage you do with every round. There are some lovely ones, and I mean absolutely lovely ones. But there are ones that enemies nearby will be affected by cold status. This will slow down enemies near you and allow you to melee them at close range. Going for the ones that deal damage is the way to go to begin with for at least the first 10. After that, pick up whichever ones you want to, because you might get to a certain point where you are literally doing, let's call it intrinsic farming, because that is basically what it is. You just run around Duviri picking up chests that have decrees in them as well, taking out groups of enemies that have decrees in them as well, or helping that guy that is basically being arrested, and he will give you a decree for that, as well as intrinsics if you are intrinsic farming while doing this. But I would say go for at least 10 of them, and don't pick up fleet-footed straight away. This is a common mistake I am seeing so many people make, it's not even funny anymore. The first 10 decrees you get, if fleet-footed pops up, leave it alone. Concentrate on damage, because that will help you with the missions that you have to do, going to the Undercroft, and of course taking on the mighty Worm at the end of it, thanks to the fact that they have actually fixed this and it's no longer bugged like crazy, which it was for the first 2 days. That, yeah, did that video yesterday. I am so happy they fixed that I actually straight up forgot about that video for well over a week. Kind of like this one, if I'm being honest. I went back and I had a look at it, and it was too long and made absolutely no sense. Mainly because it was individual cuts, and I'm not going any more into that one. The decree system for taking on the missions that you have to do, the best thing to do, don't do the first mission. Just turn around, run around Duviri, get some resources, complete the side missions, opening the chests, taking out groups of enemies, herding the sheep type animals that I cannot remember the name of at the moment, because for some reason I've literally got it written down as sheep. They're not sheep, and it's going to bug me that I cannot remember the name of those offhand. And just do the side missions until you have at least 10 decrees before you start doing it. Once you've done the first part, get 5 more before going into the second part. Then between the second part and the third part, just do a couple more. The decree system is based more, in my opinion, on the circuit. Because in the circuit, you get a decree for every round you complete. In each round, you have a chance of getting a hold of a decree if you find the 3 items that are hidden on the map. They glow, they stand out a lot. So you can get 2 decrees per round. By the time you get to, I want to say round 8, where the enemies start to get a little bit tougher, so are you, because you have the decrees. If you are doing the Steel Path version of the circuit, they will start to help at around round 12 to 16. It's somewhere inside of there. Where the decrees, you should have enough that you start to do a lot more damage. Inside of the circuit, same thing. Fleet-footed, complete waste of time because you're running around too fast and you will run past targets, and if you have a really slow frame, fine. But inside of Duviri itself, it's not that useful until later on. Catching the Urrowworm, you want to have fleet-footed for. So after the 6th mission that you have done, run around and get decrees until fleet-footed pops up, and then that should be basically your, well, I'll go take on the Urrowworm now, point. But it's just the first few decrees that you pick up, you want to get ones that will deal damage to enemies, not ones that will deal damage based on what status you can already do. Once you can do those status, then pick them up. But I love the way they've added these. Just getting them is so much easier than I expected it to be. Yes, there is a ton of them. Yes, they will make you a little bit overpowered on Duviri as you run round, and by the time you get to the point where you get to this screen, you're pretty much unkillable in the Undercroft. And, well, basically anywhere. In Duviri, the only time you will die is when you roll off the map. Or fall from a long way. Though, for the record, if you do fall a long way and you are just in your drifter, and you're, we'll just say in your drifter form, roll as you're about to hit the floor, and it pretty much takes away all fall damage. Because you're mid-roll as you hit the floor, so therefore you don't take any fall damage, rather than falling off the top of a building to your death. Yes, I have done that. No, it's not fun. Yes, it sucks. Is the decree system a little bit overpowered? A bit OP? Yeah, for running around in normal Duviri, once you have a certain number of them, they do exactly what they are supposed to. Decrees were designed, as Digital Extreme themselves said, the longer you play, the more powerful you become. There is a power cap at the moment, and that's a little bit overpowered in Duviri. Playing things like the circuit on Steel Path? No. In fact, there needs to be better ones. They did talk about increasing this system, and it literally depends what luck you got with the mood that Duviri is in, and what frames/weapons you can actually get a hold of as to whether you should even be doing the circuit on Steel Path. I've never left when starting a mission. The Steel Path circuit, I've never left even when being given junk. It makes it more interesting, and we'll do at least 2 or 3 rounds before leaving. If not after the first one, because everybody else basically did exactly the same thing. That's a whole other problem. But yeah, the decree system, it's fun. It makes it better the longer you play for. But I kind of wish there was a way of going in with more than 1 decree, because if you could go in there with 3 or 4 decrees, you could go into Duviri much stronger than you are normally, and just concentrate on the missions. Because once you're done with Intrinsics, I can see the decree system being more of a hindrance, having to run around and get these decrees before you can actually do the missions, than actually enjoying the game. And hopefully they put an endless mode in Duviri, because right now, once you do those 6 missions, there is no endless mode to Duviri, so the decree system in Duviri kind of hits a point where you just have to think, past Intrinsic farming, is anybody actually going to pick up all the decrees to do these missions, considering how long it takes to get all of them, instead of getting a handful, doing the missions and leaving? Because you can't really resource farm or anything else. Once you've got to a certain point, you have to take out the Urrowworm. It needs a free roam mode. Then the decree system will be a lot better, because you'll have better meaning for it. But I still think they've aimed it more towards the circuit, and it bled into Duviri. But I could go on about this for way too long. The decree system, is it a bit overpowered? Is it a bit broken? Yes and no. Yes, a little bit overpowered. No, not broken. It's designed to do exactly what it does. The more you play, the stronger you get. And with that, we'll leave this off here. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.